Welcome to tonight's episode of the Group Therapy Podcast. Today we have the man behind Voorhees, Night of the Beast, the Friday the 13th fan film, and more, Jason Pitts. Jason, tell us about yourself.
Hey, how are you? Thank you for having me. I'm an independent filmmaker out of Arkansas. Just grew up throughout the 80s loving horror films and films in general, but horror is definitely my genre of choice. And I knew at a very young age that I loved film and I wanted to make them. So here we are.
I gotta ask, how did you come up with the Jason versus Bigfoot idea?
Whenever I decided I wanted to do a Jason fan film, I made a post on one of the Arkansas filmmakers pages on Facebook, asking for help from the local filmmaker film community, and one of the guys that answered was his name's Jason Mansfield. And he's all like, "Man, I'd love to help." And I was just looking through his profile on Facebook, just seeing everything that he's done, and he is a huge Bigfoot enthusiast. He goes to all kinds of Bigfoot conventions and really big into like cryptids and just any type of supernatural lore and legends and stuff like that. And I was just flipping through his pictures, looking at the suits that he had, and I was like, what? Like, it just hit me while I was looking through his thing. I was like, Jason versus Bigfoot. They're both in the woods. Be really easy to do.
Yeah. You got a thing going on tomorrow, which
Yep.
unfortunately this will not air till Monday, but it is Friday the 13th on tomorrow. And you're doing a special thing, putting both your Jason versus Bigfoot movies there for people to come check out. The thing is, though, is that not a lot of people know that if you do fan films, you can show them, you just cannot make any money off of them.
Correct.
Yeah. Now, did you do like an Indiegogo or
Yes. For the first film, Voorhees Night of the Beast, the one that is Jason versus Bigfoot, that one's an hour and 1 minute long. We did do an Indiegogo on that. We did a Indiegogo and a Kickstarter. We raised about 10,000, and then I put in about 2,500, and my partner that I mentioned earlier, Jason Mansfield, put in about 2,500. So our budget was about 15,000. Now the second film that is debuting tomorrow on Friday the 13th, for the first time publicly, it's only 18 minutes long. It's a short, but it does continue the story. And it's funny, at the premiere of the first film, there was a fan who loved the first one, and she came up to me and she's all like, "If you do another one, I want to be in it and I want to be killed." And I was like, I don't want to do another big long one, but if you're serious about it, I can do a short film. And so she talked me into it, and I'm actually really happy with it. I'm excited about it. We did some really cool stuff with it. The first film had a scripted post-credit scene that we didn't get to film because of time and money. We ran out of both, and so we were able to do that planned post-credit scene at the beginning of this film. So, and it turned out really good.
So I have to ask you, what do you find harder to do, to get the time to make the movies or to get the money to make the movies?
Man, in my experience so far, finding the money is definitely the hardest part. Fundraising, man, those crowdfunding things are very, very hard to keep up with and keep everything straight and get the perks out, especially when you're a one-man band doing all the production, or not the production, but the producing part all by yourself. It's finding investors that believe in you and your team. That part is definitely the hardest part, for sure.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people, they're like, man, it's always one or the other. So you get the people that's like, finding the time to film or finding the weather. But it's one of them ones with doing movies. I've seen that you've got another one, and I can see behind you. You've got are those awards for your movies or those?
Yes,
Okay,
yeah, those are awards from different film festivals across the world. I've had two. I've had three short films that have all done really well. Alone and Masquerade. They're both on Tubi. You can watch them for free on Tubi. Alone did okay. It won a lot of like second place stuff or runner up or honorable mentions. Masquerade did really well. Masquerade won best horror short or best short film 9 times. Won best actress twice, best director twice. And then my most recent short film, other than the Voorhees short film, it's called When the Stairs Creak, and that's in its festival run now, and it's doing really really well. In one festival, we won 6 awards,
wow.
which is crazy. But yeah, so I don't have that one. You can't watch that one anywhere yet because it's doing its festival run. But I hope to have it on Tubi as well with the other
Yeah.
two shortly.
I'm not gonna lie. I think Tubi is now like the go to because like every filmmaker I know that has a movie, man, Tubi is picking it up, and I'm like, man, this is great. And I've watched. I'm not gonna lie, I watch Tubi almost every day. So,
Tubi's pretty fantastic for sure.
yeah. No. How did you get into film?
Well, like I said earlier, it's just something that I've always wanted to do. I went to school for film. I got my degree uh, from the University of North Texas in radio, television, and film. And then after that, my wife and I just started having kids, and life happened, and I didn't really do anything with the degree for a long time. I had to support my family because we were having kids and stuff, and
Oh yeah.
so I worked in retail. I worked at Target and worked my way up, became a manager for a long time, about 6 or 7 years. And then when my son graduated high school, something about that just like really lit a fire under my ass and just triggered something in me. I was like, you know what? It's either now or never. I'm not getting any younger. And I just really dedicated myself to give it a really good try, try to make something happen. And these last 3 years that started in 2020. These last 3 years, I have been so fulfilled, just making these films, building this film family, a team that loves what they do. They're very talented. They keep coming back, and it's been an absolute blessing.
Well, it's nice when you can find a group of people that you can work with that you're all on the same level, and you get that. Um, Ohio, we have a pretty good I guess indie film community here. How's the indie film community in Arkansas?
Man, it's great. It's popping off too. Um, we have had so many films shot here, and it's a very very talented place. Uh, we just had a Meg Ryan and David Duchovny shoot a romantic comedy here that a lot of the community got to work on.
Nice.
It's actually Meg Ryan's first. It's her directorial debut. It's the first film she's directed.
Hmm.
Probably going to come out later this year or next year. It's called What Comes After, and it's a romantic comedy with her and David Duchovny. We had a movie called Mind Cage that was shot here recently, and that has Martin Lawrence in it and John Malkovich, and a lot of the community got to work on that. Just across the border, they've been shooting Tulsa King with Sylvester Stallone over in Oklahoma. So yeah, it's really starting to pop off.
Cool. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
we I'm not far from Dayton, and we had our big whole thing is that we had Martin Sheen, and um, I hate to say this, my little community has had offers because our little town is still kind of dated, so they wanted it for the architecture, so they in our little town turned them down I think like 3 times to film movies here, and I'm like,
Oh my lord.
why would you do
Yeah.
that?
dude, they don't know what they just turned down because it's not just the film. It's like the economy. Like when a film comes into town and filmed, like the economy just explodes.
Well,
They gotta eat. They gotta buy stuff. You know, just yeah. They don't know what they did.
oh yeah. Now I got to ask you because I was looking on your profile for you worked in wrestling.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah. For about 4 years, I worked for a company called Traditional Championship Wrestling, or TCW, and it was based out of Russellville, Arkansas. But we were on TV across the world. It was an international promotion, um, and and man, that was a lot of fun. It lasted for about 4 years, and then it just had to go away. It wasn't. I guess I don't know. I don't know the details, but they weren't able to keep it going. Yeah, I
Uh,
worked. I was head of creative for that duration, and had a lot of fun. Worked with Matt Hardy, Diamond Dallas Page, and a lot of the local wrestlers. Um, Ember Moon was on our roster before she was Ember Moon. She was Athena.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, man.
I've ironically I've hung out with her husband.
Oh wow.
And Matt Palmer. We were sitting there talking because we were at wrestling one time, and I was like, "Man," he's like, "I'm looking for a D&D group," and I was like, "Dude, if I'd known you wanted to play some D&D, we'd be playing D&D right now."
That's fantastic.
And I told him, I was like, "Maybe you ever come back through, you get a hold of me, and we'll play some D&D when you're."
Heck yeah.
But I gotta ask, you said you did creative, man. What
Yeah.
was harder, working creative on wrestling or putting a movie together, or working on a movie?
Definitely putting the movies together. There's just so many moving parts. Working with TCW, there was a team of about three or four of us, and so like it was the pressure was on all of us. It wasn't just on my shoulders. But when I'm producing or directing a film that's 100% mine, like everything is on my shoulders. And with Voorhees, Night of the Beast, man, that movie was so hard to pull off because there was about 30 people, cast and crew, all together. We packed up. We actually shot it in Louisa, Kentucky. So most like about 80% of us were from Arkansas. So we packed up and took off across the country and had to schedule where everyone was going to sleep, what we were going to eat. I mean, we were there for like a week and a half. So, yeah, that's definitely a lot harder.
Yeah, I just wondered because I'm like, okay, because if you do a movie, it's you got X amount of time, you're kind of done. I just wondered
Yes.
about all the moving parts in doing a because you said it was an aired show all over, was it weekly?
Yeah. I think it was weekly. Yeah. I'm pretty
Put,
sure it was weekly. Yeah.
putting together a weekly show, that's got to be rough. Um, so
Again, it wasn't just me.
yeah.
We had a team. I also ran one of the cameras on the floor during the shows. We usually had a team of 2 to 3 cameramen, and then there was just a whole production team, a whole team that set up the ring, and so like it was just a lot easier, I think, than being in charge of a movie, just because you have a bigger team. Everybody's responsible for their own thing, and yeah. Now the owner, he probably would say different because he was overseeing everything and just making sure every department ran accordingly.
Were you able to steal anybody from wrestling to bring to making films?
Yes, actually, the one of the other cameramen that I worked with worked on Masquerade with me. His name's Kenny Reynolds. He's a fantastic guy. And we did. I didn't meet him while I was doing TCW, but I had a few ties with him.
Hmm.
Madman Fulton, and he actually came and played Bigfoot for us in the Voorhees Night of the Beast. Um, but I didn't know him from TCW. It was kind of I knew of him type thing.
Yeah. Hey, Madman's kind of local for me. He's
Yeah,
I've seen that man wrestle. I couldn't tell you how many times. Uh,
he's an amazing dude, man. He's so cool.
oh yeah,
He had
cool dude.
he had an absolute blast playing Bigfoot, and he also played Lance. He played two roles.
Nice, nice. We a friend of mine shot a Bigfoot film locally, and I was like, dude, tell me you have the costume because I'm totally screwing with some friends of mine if you still have the costume. I was like, man, I want to like look in their windows with the costume. Uh, so that's pretty cool though. Fulton was the
Yeah.
Bigfoot and the that's pretty neat. Um,
Mhm.
I gotta ask you, since you've done Jason,
Yeah.
is there any other of the big iconic ones that you would love to work on?
I would love to do a Freddy film, a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, but I wouldn't attempt it as a fan film. The only way I would do it is if I had a studio backing me, just because I like a nightmare film. Uh, I would want to like I would want my imagination to be the limit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I would want to be restrained by not having the funding to pull it off. But yeah, I would love to do a nightmare film. Absolutely.
Oh, cool. Who does your special effects?
It's a lady named Sala Tippes, and she is out of Bentonville, Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas area. She's got a company called um, dang it, I, I'm having a blank. I think it's something Sisters, but it's a special effects company. It's her and her partner Paris, and they do all my special effects.
Cool, cool. Now I got to ask you. I'm guessing we're probably close to the same age. Were you the video store kid that worked your way through all the videos at the video store, all the
Oh,
horror section?
absolutely, yeah. my, we would go. My family would go. Friday nights to Blockbuster or whatever the local place was, and yeah, everyone would pick a movie, and mine was always horror for sure.
Were you one of the ones that always had that would always rent the same one over and over again, and all your friends like, really?
Uh, no, I pretty much rented different ones. Um, I did have my favorites, but like I would buy them if I really liked them. I'd buy them, and
Yeah. See,
yeah,
people don't remember VHS tapes back in the day were not cheap. So you had to wait for them to be
no,
the previously viewed so you could get them relatively
Mhm.
cheap. Um,
Absolutely.
do you remember some of your favorites from back in the day?
Oh yeah, man, I loved uh, shoot, obviously the Friday the 13th films. I think the original Nightmare on Elm Street is my favorite horror film of all time. It's my second favorite film. I think it's not horror, but I love The Dark Knight. I think it's basically a perfect movie. But man, I love Return of the Living Dead, Day of the Dead. I really liked Night of the Demons. I used to watch Night of the Demons over and over again. It was such a fun movie. I liked the Blob, the remake of the Blob. I thought that was really good. The Thing. I can go on and on, man.
Me and my son just had a discussion the other day because people were like, "Oh, remakes are all garbage." And I'm like, but then you go back to the
Oh, we're
'80s,
good.
The
Yeah,
Fly, The Blob, The
yeah,
Thing, all of them were
yeah.
remakes, and all of them were just great films.
Fantastic. Yeah,
um,
yeah.
now,
We're really good.
how did you get? What did you do to get back into films after being taking time off, raising a family?
So I played Magic the Gathering for a long time, and when I made that decision, I sold all my cards and I got about $10,000 from my cards, and I bought a camera and I bought some film equipment, and then I just started looking on some of the local Facebook film pages, seeing who needed help, and just saying, "Hey, I got a camera, I got a Blackmagic 4K," and then I just eventually got on these sets and started meeting people and making connections, and before you knew it, I was making my own films with a lot of the people I met. So,
Cool. 'Cause,
yeah,
there's always that weird, because people, like you said, you had a regular job, you
yeah.
went from being, no, what's your regular job currently?
Now I am I'm a technical director at a local news station.
Okay, okay, yeah, I've
So
seen that one.
I
Um,
actually made the decision to actually use my degree, and I was able to get hired as a technical director. So
nice. Um, yeah, it's you get these people who have the degree and stuff, and then they take their time because life gets in the way, life comes around, and then all of a sudden, man, you're like, all your kids are out of the house. You're like, I can do this. I can. um,
yeah,
I'm
that's pretty much what happened
hoping.
to me.
Um, I'm hoping myself to start working because I do the 3 shows a week, and I'm wanting to do a scripted show where I have an actual like half-hour long show every week that I can put together that will actually be a full movie, but you're only going to get it in 30-minute segments.
Oh, that's cool. That's a cool idea.
Yeah, it's and the nice part about it is the script I got, it makes it so that I don't have to have the entire cast the entire time, so I can shoot when I need. Um, Now, I've asked this, but you said you had people for how many days for Jason or Voorhees?
It was about a week and a half.
Week and a half,
I think it was
so
nine
11 days.
days. Yeah,
Yeah. Um,
9. Yeah,
9.
yeah.
Did you run into any issues just trying to get 9 days of freedom to go film or?
I was able to take vacation, um, and I guess everybody else was able to work their stuff out too. But yeah, the news station let me take a vacation, like my vacation time. Um, so no, not really. Didn't have
Oh,
much problems with that.
cool.
And I don't remember anyone else telling me that they had problems. Everyone pretty much worked it out.
Nice. Okay. So we're going to get into the big questions I ask all the filmmaker people that I know. All right.
Yeah.
Here's the big one. Um, you can hire any actor. Who are you hiring? Money's no object. You can get any actor you want. Who are you getting?
Probably. Uh, Man, I like Edward Norton. I think I'd hire him. Or Matthew McConaughey is really good too. So one of those two.
Now, would you have them be the villain or would you have them be the
It
hero?
just depends on what the script is and the stories and the characters.
Bring Matthew McConaughey and
I think
make a sequel to Texas Chainsaw: The Next Generation.
right. Gosh. I think both of them would be fantastic villains or heroes. But
Okay, here's the other one. You can. What other genre would you like to work in?
I like drama. Um, and like the only genre that I'm afraid that I don't think I do really well with is comedy. I think comedy is incredibly hard, and I I want to stay away from comedy. But like sci-fi would be amazing. Obviously very close to horror, and drama would probably be my two picks.
Um, Now I see you're producing movies now too, and what do you got coming production or movies you're producing?
Um, I'm producing a film from a friend of mine. His name is Charlie Brady, and he's a very, very talented good friend. He was the director of photography for almost everything that I've done in the last couple of years. He was DP for both the Voorhees films and Masquerade. He worked on Alone. He wasn't DP, but he worked on Alone. He was a screenwriting partner for another film I got in the works, and we work really well together. And he's a great guy, and he's wanting to direct his first feature. So I'm helping him produce that. It's called Whispers. And then I have a feature coming up that is in the very early stages of pre-production. I'm still working on the script. It's called The Forest Through the Trees, and it's a horror film about a father and a daughter who are trying to survive a demonic cult.
Cool.
And
Um,
that's it.
do we? Um, so now, do you have somebody that does your music, or
Yeah. I have a friend named Dwayne Adcock. He lives in Hot Springs. He's a fantastic composer. He did the music for When the Stairs Creak and the second Voorhees film. And then I also have another friend named Dustin Yoder out of Conway who does a lot of the music for me as well. He did Alone and Masquerade.
nice.
So, I mean, there's like I said earlier, man, there's so many talented people.
You, and that's what's nice. I mean, you do you try to keep the same cast and stuff from project to project, or as much as possible?
As much as possible. I do like to every once in a while try somebody new out. But if I'm writing a story and there's this a character that develops, and I am like, oh man, so and so would be perfect for it, I don't even cast. I just ask, hey, do you want to do this? And they're like, yeah. But nobody's ever told me no yet. So
You probably get the exact opposite. You get the people who's like, "Yeah, I want to be in a movie," and you're just like, "You can't act, man. I'm sorry."
yeah, there's a few of those.
I I had a girl I used to work with years ago, and I was trying to put a project together, and she's like, "I want to be in a movie. I want to be in a movie," and I'm like, "Well, can you?" And I was like, "I don't know." I grabbed like a script I had floating around here. I think I had a script for Pulp Fiction or something like. I was like, "Can you read these lines? Just read these lines." And she like couldn't emote, couldn't do nothing. I'm like, "All right, would you be topless?" She's like, "Oh yeah, I got a problem." I was like, "Okay, then we got to."
Oh, sure.
Sure, sure. We need a
You're
topless
in.
girl to die. So yeah, we can put you in the movie as long as you're up for that. Fine, we're good.
That's hilarious.
Well, it is bad because you get those people who would, the ones who would want to be in the movie, like have the passion to be in the movies, are the ones that you're just like, you just don't have the
Yeah,
talent. I'm sorry.
yeah.
So
Unfortunately, yeah.
yeah. So
Well, what happens is the really talented ones get to a point where they know what they're worth. You know,
hmm
they're past that phase of needing to do work for free to have a reel and stuff like that.
hmm
So, I mean, that happens very quickly if they're really good.
I got a friend. She is phenomenal. I don't know how many movies she's been in. But
Mm.
man, she can do comedy. She can do, I mean, there's one where she played the monster, and she's great in it. And I'm like, man, girl, I was like, why you need to do something bigger? But
Yeah,
regular jobs get in the way of the occasional working job that you can get in film. So,
and
um,
they sure do.
yeah. I gotta ask. You said you played Magic and you sold all your stuff
Yes,
off to get. Do you still play
yes.
Magic?
Very, very rarely on Arena. I
Ah,
do, but I had a goal to make the Pro Tour, and I did. I got to go to London. It was the last Pro Tour that they had, before they changed everything and they became Mythic Championships. I competed in London, and then after that, after I accomplished my goal, I just lost all drive. I was just like, I did it. And then shortly after that, my son graduated and all that. So
Did your son play Magic?
he did for a while, yeah.
Yeah.
He loved coming with me and um, to the local store. He won a few store championships. Still has the play mats and stuff. So, but no, not very much in the last like 4 years or so.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I run a store. I run Magic. Man, I think the worst thing they
Do
ever
you
did
really?
was, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
That's
that
awesome.
literally, I'm waiting for my new shipment of Magic to come in. I was hoping it would be here today. It's going to get here tomorrow, and I need it tomorrow. So I they sent me my statement last two days ago on how much I
Mhm.
had bought through my distributor, and mind you, 95% of it's Magic. And I'm like, all
Wow.
right. I like looked at the money at the bottom. I'm like, that can't be right. And my buddy's like, what do you mean? I go, I spent $46,000 on Magic last year.
Oh my goodness.
Well, and the thing is that's just part of it, because there's other times where they're out of product, my distributor, and I got to
Yeah.
order it or get it from somebody else. So I'm going to guess it's probably closer to 50. And I'm like,
Gee.
oh, that's insane. That's more money than I made at my regular job when and now I spend that
So
on
you have
Magic.
a regular job and you have a regular job and you run a store?
No, my regular job is my store. I have a
Okay.
full, yeah, my comic shop is my 100% my whole thing now. So I don't have a regular job. I haven't had a regular job in about 8 years. So
Nice.
it was nice being able to walk away from
That's
that.
really
So
that's really cool. I had I had the dream to run a magic shop for a while.
well, I had to stop playing because you cannot have a store and play, because
Yeah,
it's the
too
whole.
busy.
Yep, and what we always joke around, it's the drug dealer thing. You can't get high on your own supply, so you buy too many Magic cards.
Right.
You're talking about your son won the championship. I'm going to complain, and if anybody from Magic hears this, you need to bring back the play mats for the Storm
Absolutely.
championships. Now you just get a card, and everybody's like, and it's always a garbage card that everybody's like, the playmat was cool.
That's terrible, man. Um, did you notice the player base dropping off with COVID? Did
Um,
like here COVID like killed the magic scene. And it's kind of coming back from what I've heard, but man, it really hurt it.
we lost probably a handful of people, but we got other people to replace them almost immediately. Um, there were people who just when it stopped, they just kind of walked away from it. And there's a couple people who just when they couldn't play Magic anywhere or buy new product, they just kind of quit and walked away.
Yeah.
So now I've got a whole new batch of kids, and I'm always getting the new people in there every day. Hopefully, I got a new guy this week. Hopefully, because Commander's the right now, and I don't know how it is there, but locally nobody plays standard or modern. It's
Yeah.
all Commander. That's where you guys down there
Yeah,
too.
from what I've heard from friends that I used to play with, it's Commander is everywhere now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had one guy got mad and quit because he's like, I want to play standard. I'm like, nobody plays standard. And he's been playing since day one. He just he's selling off his stuff and walking away from it. So
You can go on Arena and play standard.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what else besides Magic were you into other geeky stuff like comics or video games or anything like that?
Yeah, I collect comics. I love Spider-Man and Batman. Those are my two favorites. But I haven't really again ever since I've dove into film, I haven't bought any comics. I pretty much have stopped all of my other hobbies. I played World of Warcraft for about 2 years. Um, I had a lot of fun with it, and then we were ranked on this. I created a guild, built it up. We were ranked on the server we were on. It was during Cataclysm, and then once we got ranked, I same thing. I was just like, all right, well that's done. We want something else.
I just it's just crazy to me because you went to the pro tour in London
Yeah.
and we're like kind of like, yeah, I did good. I'm good.
I made day two. I made day two also. That was a modern tournament. I played Tron, and yeah, I mean, made a little bit of money, and I was able to take my wife. We went to London and had a lot of fun. But yeah, I was just like, okay, I did that.
Oh man, I'm not gonna lie. I love some of these guys that play around here, and this has been a bunch of years back. We had these guys who used to destroy people locally, like just
Mhm.
massacre them, and they were like, I think I went to Motor City one year, or not Mid Ohio Con, which was a big comic book convention. They had a big Magic tournament there, and I took them there, and they're thinking they're going to go in, and boy, they got their
Mm.
asses handed to them. It's a whole different game over here,
It is
guys. So,
absolutely.
oh. Now, I got to ask though. Now, would you ever go into like the other geekiness that you have to make movies? Would you love to do
Oh,
something?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like are you saying like create a story around like magic or
Yeah, like do a magic
yeah,
movie or a comic book movie or something like that. So,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that'd be a fun little fantasy sci-fi type thing.
what do you think of Netflix making a magic anime coming that they've been
uh
working on forever?
I think it has potential. I think it could be really cool. A long time ago I heard that they were going to do a live action magic thing on Netflix, but I never
Yeah,
it's been like years since I heard anything about it.
well, it's like I'm waiting for this anime to come out. I mean, it's been announced forever, and it's like, okay. I'm reading the comics now, and the worst part about I don't even play Magic anymore, but I read the comics, and I'm like, I really get into this lore, and I'm like,
Yeah.
my friends are like, so do you play? No, I just read the comics. I'm um
Hey man, I hate to cut this short, but I
yeah.
got to run and get my daughter. I'm sorry.
All right, no, you're all good. You're all good. But before you go, tell us where we can find you and we can find your movies.
Absolutely. So, Alone and Masquerade are both on Tubi. The best way to find it is just to search my name on Tubi, Jason Pitts, and then both of them will come up. You can watch them both on for free. They're both about 35 to 37 minutes, so easy watch. They're a lot of fun. And then Voorhees Night of the Beast you can watch on YouTube. Uh, Very easy to find that. You just go type in Voorhees Night of the Beast, and that's an hour and 1 minute long. Jason versus Bigfoot. We had a lot of fun making it. A lot of the Jason fans say it feels like a Friday the 13th movie. We got like 550,000 views in 6 months
Nice.
on it. So yeah, it was pretty freaking awesome. Um, Voorhees After the Beast, the short follow up, will be available on YouTube this Saturday.
Saturday. Now where people can find you personally.
I have Twitter. You can just type in Jason Pitts. I'm on Instagram. Again, Jason Pitts. I'm on Facebook.
All right.
Uh, yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, and I can't wait to
So much
watch
for
some
having
of
me,
your
man. I
movies.
appreciate it.
And maybe we can talk again sometime, talk about some other
Sure.
nerdy stuff, what
Yeah.
type of movies. So
Check
you,
check out my movies when you get a chance. I'd love to know what you think.
yeah, I'll probably try to watch maybe tomorrow night. I got another interview later on tonight, so that's going to interview with movie watching. So, all right, well, I greatly appreciate it, sir, and you have a good day and take care.
Thank you.
Later.